Emma Raducanu's withdrawal from the December 7th to 8th exhibition in the United States created a wave of reaction across the tennis world, not only because she was expected to be one of the main attractions of the event, but because her absence came at the worst possible moment for the organization. The exhibition, split between New Jersey and Miami, had been designed as one of the final global showcases of the year, mixing entertainment, top-tier tennis, and crossover star power. Carlos Alcaraz, João Fonseca, Frances Tiafoe and Amanda Anisimova were all confirmed, but the participation of Raducanu was expected to give the event an additional media boost, particularly in the British and North American markets. When the news broke that Raducanu would not travel due to a foot issue, the organizers had to immediately readjust the lineup. The financial impact was significant. Her absence is expected to cost her approximately £500,000 in appearance fees and bonuses tied to promotional events. Jessica Pegula was named as her replacement, a late but high-caliber addition given her status as world number 6 and one of the most consistent players on the WTA Tour. Behind the scenes, the situation had been developing for several days. Raducanu had been training in Barcelona with a Spanish coach as part of her long-term plan to rebuild her form after 2 injury-plagued seasons. According to sources close to her team, the foot problem escalated during one of her sessions last week, leading her medical staff to urge caution. With the Australian Open less than a month away, the risk of aggravating the injury was simply too high. Carlos Alcaraz received the news during a training session in Murcia, just as he was preparing for the final stretch of the year before heading to Australia. He had been looking forward to sharing the court with Raducanu again, having crossed paths with her multiple times during promotional commitments and mixed events over the last 2 seasons. Their interactions have always sparked interest among fans, and Alcaraz appreciated the dynamic she brought to exhibitions, a mix of charisma, intensity and unpredictability that makes these events feel more like a show than a training drill. Shortly after her withdrawal became public, Raducanu reached out privately to Alcaraz to apologize for pulling out. According to the world number 1, her message was sincere and direct. He responded by telling her the priority should always be her health, especially with the 2026 season around the corner. For him, there was nothing to forgive. He knows better than anyone what it means to protect your body, having experienced firsthand the toll of injuries in 2023 and 2024. Still, Alcaraz admitted that her absence changes the tone of the exhibition. He had planned several light sessions with her during the Miami stop, more as a way to reconnect than to train seriously. He often mentions that hitting with different styles right before the preseason helps him reset his timing and rhythm. Raducanu's flat, aggressive ball striking is one of the styles he particularly enjoys practicing against. Now, those sessions will not take place. Even so, Alcaraz showed nothing but admiration for Pegula's sudden addition. From his point of view, having a top-6 player join the event makes it even more competitive and balances the lineup. He also highlighted that Pegula brings a very different kind of tennis, steady, consistent, and structurally strong, something that will challenge all the players involved in friendly but demanding matchups. Despite the disruption, Alcaraz remains excited. For him, exhibitions are the perfect opportunity to perform in a relaxed atmosphere, reconnect with American fans, and fine-tune his game before the Australian summer. The December 7th to 8th event will now take place without Raducanu, but with the same intensity and playful energy that define every appearance of the world number 1 at the end of the season. Carlos Alcaraz's reaction to Emma Raducanu's withdrawal quickly became one of the most commented topics among fans, not because he said anything controversial, but because of the maturity and empathy he showed during a key moment of his preseason. While the tennis world continues to compare him and his rivals on every detail, preparation, scheduling, recovery, mental toughness, Alcaraz's response reflected exactly why he has become the central figure of the sport. Instead of frustration or disappointment, he projected understanding, perspective, and long-term thinking. All 3 qualities define a champion. In private conversations with his team, Alcaraz explained that the disappointment was not about competition, but about missing an opportunity to reconnect with Raducanu, someone he genuinely respects for her resilience. Despite all the criticism she has faced since winning the 2021 US Open, Alcaraz has always defended her, insisting that her talent is still intact and that her struggles come from injuries, not ability. That was the tone he maintained when the press asked him about her absence. He said she does not need added pressure, she needs space to recover properly. According to people present in the training session in Murcia, Alcaraz's focus did not waver for even a second once the news became official. The world number 1 continued practicing serves, forehands down the line, and short-court volleys, working with his usual precision. His team emphasized that these final weeks before the trip to Australia are critical, and he cannot afford to be distracted by external circumstances. Still, within the group there was a sense of sympathy for Raducanu's situation, especially because she had been working hard to rebuild her form. One detail that surprised many is that Alcaraz had actually participated in part of the planning for the Miami exhibition. He had given suggestions to ensure the matches were entertaining, balanced, and appealing to fans. Raducanu's presence was part of that perfect mix, as he described it earlier this month. But as soon as Jessica Pegula was announced as her replacement, Alcaraz embraced the change without hesitation. He knows that Pegula brings experience, reliability, and a calm on-court presence that elevates events like this. From an organizational standpoint, Alcaraz's presence still guarantees record attendance and massive viewership. Every exhibition he plays in the United States attracts large crowds eager to see the intensity, creativity, and spectacle that define his tennis. But this particular event also carries strategic weight. For Alcaraz, these two matches are not about entertainment alone. They serve as the final step in his transition into competitive mode before the Australian swing. His team has crafted a precise plan, combining physical recovery, technical polishing, and confidence-building matches, exhibitions included. Beyond his reaction to Raducanu's absence, another topic that resurfaced in recent hours is his relationship with Sinner. The two shared an interview with CNN that has become one of the most significant media moments of the season. Alcaraz repeated his now famous line about seeing Sinner more often than his mother, and both players emphasized that while the rivalry on the court is intense, off the court they enjoy a relaxed, respectful relationship. The way Alcaraz spoke about Sinner during the interview offered deeper insight into his mentality. He views the rivalry not as a threat, but as a source of motivation. He believes that players of similar age pushing each other is what elevates an era, and he repeatedly pointed out that modern tennis is defined by consistency, not one-off wins. That mutual respect is why the tennis world is fascinated by their dynamic. They compete fiercely, yet understand each other better than anyone else because they share the same pressures, expectations, and spotlight. As the exhibition draws closer, Alcaraz remains focused on his objective: finish the year strong and head into 2026 with maximum clarity. He understands that every appearance he makes comes with expectations from fans, sponsors, the media, and analysts. Yet his reaction to Raducanu's news proves that pressure has not hardened him. He remains grounded, empathetic, and aware that tennis careers are fragile. In the end, what matters is longevity and health, and he wants Raducanu to return fully ready, not rushed. The build-up to the exhibition in New Jersey and Miami has also revived an ongoing debate inside the tennis community. How much should top players rely on off-season exhibitions to sharpen their form ahead of the Australian Open? For Carlos Alcaraz, the answer is clear. He believes that stepping onto a court, even in a relaxed environment, provides sensations that no training session can replicate. His team insists that controlling intensity is key, and exhibitions offer exactly that: competitive rhythm without the physical tension of official ATP events. The absence of Raducanu changes the dynamic slightly, but Alcaraz already adjusted his expectations. With Pegula in the lineup, the exhibition gains a different personality, more tactical and composed, something the Spaniard sees as an advantage rather than a setback. During his latest media availability in Murcia, Alcaraz spoke about the importance of feeling the ball before traveling to Australia. Although his season ended in Turin, he has been gradually increasing intensity. The rhythm of these training blocks is carefully planned to avoid overload, especially considering the hamstring edema he suffered at the end of the season. Even small details, like the angle of the warm-up serves or the length of baseline rallies, have been adjusted to ensure he arrives in perfect condition. The exhibition in the United States serves as the final test. If he feels fast, balanced, and explosive there, he will be ready for Melbourne. Inside the tennis world, many noticed that Alcaraz's reaction to Raducanu's withdrawal contrasts with how other players have reacted to exhibition changes in the past. Some stars have expressed disappointment publicly, framing cancellations as inconvenient or disrespectful. Alcaraz's tone was the opposite. He emphasized empathy, understanding, and patience. According to his team, this approach reflects his deeper personality, competitive on court, but always human off it. It's the same mindset that has shaped his growing friendship with Sinner, despite their increasingly high-stakes battles on the ATP Tour. The joint interview they recorded together continues to generate discussion because it revealed something fundamental. Neither player sees the other as an enemy. They see each other as the person who understands their life better than anyone else. They share similar routines, similar pressures, similar expectations. They spend hours warming up, traveling, talking with coaches, recovering, stretching, preparing for matches. Even their timelines align. Almost identical training schedules, nearly identical tournament calendars, parallel rises in rankings, and synchronized breakthroughs in the biggest tournaments in the world. In the interview, Sinner said that when you see someone so much, rivalry becomes just another part of the job. What remains is respect. Alcaraz echoed that sentiment privately after the interview, explaining that the sport becomes easier to handle when you can look at your biggest rival and still see a friend. The comments added emotional depth to their story, giving fans a sense of how rare and authentic their relationship truly is. They push each other constantly, but they also cheer for each other's health and success. That balance has become one of the foundations of modern tennis. While Alcaraz prepares for the exhibition, his social media message after Spain's Davis Cup defeat has also drawn attention. His words demonstrated not only leadership but also pride in his teammates, despite being unable to participate. He congratulated Italy first, acknowledging their achievement without hesitation. Then he emphasized that Spain's effort deserved admiration, especially considering the absence of both world number 1 and world number 2 in the final. Fans noted how he addressed the Spanish team as muy grande, a subtle but powerful way of reflecting how much he values their dedication. Analysts pointed out that this message signals a shift in Alcaraz's role within Spanish tennis. He is no longer simply the young star. He is becoming the emotional and symbolic leader of the national team, even when he is not on court. The fact that he shared such a message during his recovery shows his commitment to representing Spain beyond his physical presence. And his reaction to Raducanu's withdrawal echoes that same maturity: calm, respectful, and focused on the long term. Everything around Alcaraz right now feels like preparation for a much bigger stage. Even small moments, messages, exhibitions, comments, training sessions, are pieces of a long-term puzzle. He knows that the upcoming season has the potential to define his next decade, and every decision he makes reflects that awareness. As the exhibition approaches, the situation surrounding Raducanu's withdrawal continues to generate discussion, especially because of the financial implications. The estimated £500,000 she will lose for not participating has fueled debates about player scheduling, injury management, and the increasing pressure to balance commercial commitments with physical well-being. Alcaraz, who is entering the most demanding phase of his preseason, understands this dilemma better than anyone. With his own hamstring issues still in recovery, he knows how quickly one wrong decision can jeopardize an entire season. That is why his reaction was so composed. For him, empathy outweighs disappointment. Inside his team, the atmosphere is one of controlled intensity. His coaching staff, physical trainers, and physiotherapists are all aligned on a single goal: reach Melbourne in perfect condition. Every year, players who overwork in December arrive exhausted in January. And Alcaraz cannot afford that. After a 2025 season filled with long battles, Grand Slam finals, and tournament victories, his body needs balance as much as it needs preparation. The exhibition in the United States is the final checkpoint. If he feels strong, light, and stable during those matches, the team will greenlight the transition into full Australian Open mode the moment he lands in Melbourne. Behind the scenes, sponsors are also paying close attention. With his Nike personal logo scheduled for release in 2026 and several new commercial agreements taking shape, the brand expects him to begin the season with a powerful presence. They understand that Alcaraz has become more than a tennis player. He is a global figure. His personality, his explosiveness on court, and his connection with fans drive numbers that many athletes only dream of. The exhibition, although unofficial, is another opportunity to maintain momentum. Meanwhile, the financial rivalry between Sinner and Alcaraz continues to take center stage. Their combined earnings of more than $37 million in 2025 symbolize the arrival of a new era, one where two young players dominate not only sporting headlines but also financial ones. Analysts highlight that this new dynamic resembles the early days of Federer and Nadal, when tennis became a global phenomenon because of two rising forces shaping the sport simultaneously. The 2025 season confirmed the pattern. Both men won Grand Slams, both topped ranking lists, both packed stadiums, both attracted sponsors, and both became cultural icons in their respective countries. In that context, exhibitions like the one Alcaraz is about to play take on a new meaning. They are not just warm-up events. They are strategic showcases. The tennis world watches how he moves, how he reacts, how he serves, how he behaves physically after his injury. Every gesture, Every rally, every highlight clip can become a talking point. And with Raducanu absent, his presence becomes even more central to the media narrative. At the same time, the Davis Cup defeat has revealed something important about Alcaraz's maturity. While many fans expected frustration or regret, he chose to celebrate his team's effort instead. He congratulated Italy with sincerity, acknowledged Spain's fight, and expressed pride in his teammates. His message resonated because it reflected leadership based on gratitude rather than anger. It was a reminder that Alcaraz sees tennis as a collective journey, not just an individual mission. And that mindset will be crucial in 2026, when expectations surrounding him will be higher than ever. With the ATP Tour set to resume in early January, the calendar becomes relentless. The United Cup in Australia, the first ATP events in Brisbane and Hong Kong, and then the Australian Open itself. The rhythm leaves no room for hesitation. And as he prepares for this decisive stretch, Alcaraz seems more focused, more mature, and more aware of what is at stake than at any other point in his career. The dynamic with Sinner, the new commercial responsibilities, the growing expectations in Spain, the pressure of becoming a global star, all of it is converging into a moment that could define his legacy. The exhibition may appear small compared to what is coming. But in the world of elite tennis, nothing is small. Every detail matters, every decision shapes the next step, and every match, even an exhibition, moves the needle. As December approaches its final stretch, Alcaraz stands at the edge of a new season with clarity, ambition, and the determination to turn 2026 into the year